I was a little mute girl from the sticks, and illiterate to boot. But I had a childhood engagement to a wealthy heir from the city. I pulled out a note I'd written in advance, nervous and clumsy. "I'm sorry, I have an hour to go." Mason looked at me coldly, his impatience obvious. "I wouldn't marry a moron like you even if I died." I looked at him helplessly, my eyes turning red. Mason thought I was an embarrassment, but he was also afraid I'd make a scene in front of his family, so he tossed me over to his roommate. "Bro, watch her for a few days. Just don't let her starve to death." The roommate smiled lazily, looking down at me. "He doesn't want you. How about you be my wife instead?" I was used to being obedient, so I dutifully wrote down, "Do me." The roommate froze, the tips of his ears turning red instantly. Damn. Are people in the country always this direct? Liam brought me a table full of food. I ate like a starving wolf. He propped his head up with one hand, watching me. After a while, he muttered a curse word. I instinctively froze, looking up at him in panic. My mouth was stuffed full of braised pork, and I didn't dare chew. A complicated emotion flashed through Liam's eyes, and his voice softened. "Sorry, I wasn't talking about you. I was cursing that bastard Mason. Even if he doesn't like you, he shouldn't lock you up without food. It's been days, and he only just remembered to ask me to check on you." When Liam first opened the door, I was digging through the trash for ramen wrappers. A few dried noodle crumbs fell on the floor, and I carefully picked them up with my fingertip to put in my mouth. Liam paused, then spoke again. "I heard you two have an arranged marriage. Did you know Mason already has a girlfriend? A rich heiress, someone from his own world. He's not going to marry you. After you eat, you'd better come with me." I was silent for a moment, then turned and ran thump 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 to get a piece of paper. "You lie." When Mason was in middle school, he was kidnapped by traffickers and taken deep into the mountains. He escaped with a broken leg and met me while I was herding sheep. I hid him in the root cellar for a year, keeping it a secret from my family. When his family finally found him, he held my hand and promised he would come back for me. I gripped the pen with difficulty, writing crookedly. Mason said, "Save life, give body." Liam squinted at it for a few seconds, then laughed low in his throat. "Little mute, you can't read?" I pursed my lips, looking at him sullenly. Back home, only my younger brother was allowed to go to school. That was my first act of rebellion. Dad beat my palms with a leather whip until they were a bloody mess. I fainted from the pain, but I wouldn't give in. Eventually, Grandma said if they beat me to death, no one would feed the sheep, and the family couldn't afford to lose the labor. Only then did Dad agree to step back and buy me a dictionary. But later, Mason said my dictionary was a pirated fake. I didn't understand what pirated meant, and Mason left before he could explain it to me. Liam reached out and pinched my cheek, which was puffed out with food. His smile deepened. "Who made this little thing? So cute." "Mason is a total idiot." I slapped his hand away and glared at him. "Don't be bully. Even though I ate your food, you can't touch me." Liam raised an eyebrow, his tone lazy. "But didn't you just say you wanted to be my wife?" My face flushed, and I waved my hands frantically. I wrote wrong." Liam nodded solemnly. "Okay, excusable. But you promised me. I had a wife, and now you're saying you won't be my wife." I went from married to single and lost a wife for nothing. So I'm still taking a loss here. What do we do? I looked at him in confusion, nodding slowly. It seemed to make sense. He spoke too fast, and I got talked into a corner. Liam bent down slightly to look me in the eye. His peach blossom eyes were unreasonably pretty. "Chloe, remember me this time. Remember my face, and my name." I thought for a moment, then solemnly wrote, "Damn." Liam came over every day after classes. Half a month passed, and I finally had some meat on my bones. Liam held my chin, inspecting me left and right, lips curving in satisfaction. You finally look like a person." I held my milk tea, chugging it glug glug glug, and nodded vaguely. He reached out and wiped a drop of water from the corner of my mouth with his knuckle, chuckling lightly. "Slow down, no one's fighting you for it. I'm cooking personally. Today. Gonna show you my skills. I'm going downstairs to buy groceries. You wait here like a good girl." The door closed. Not long after, there was a violent banging on the door. It wasn't Liam. He always knocked with a lazy rhythm, tap, tap, tap. I walked hesitantly to the door and looked through the peephole to see a strange girl with exquisite makeup. She kicked the door impatiently again. Open up. I know someone's in there. I flinched, not daring to move. Not opening, huh? Don't make me guess the code. The sound of the electronic lock unlocking beeped soon after. The girl shoved the door open, and I stumbled back. She crossed her arms, looking me up and down. A total hillbilly. Skinny as a rail, like you're malnourished. She sneered. Face isn't bad, though. No wonder he's willing to keep a mistress. I frantically looked for paper and pen. But she had already walked into the living room, her high heels clicking on the floor I had just mopped, leaving a trail of dusty prints. I heard you have a childhood engagement with Mason. She turned, her eyes full of disdain. Keep dreaming. He's about to get engaged to me. I advise you to crawl back to wherever you came from, or I'll make you regret it. I shook my head vigorously, ran into the bedroom, and brought out that crumpled note. Mason said, save life, give body. She snatched it, glanced at it, and scoffed. What is this gibberish? An illiterate like you thinks she deserves to climb the social ladder into the Moo family? She tore the note to shreds and threw it in my face. Paper scraps fluttered down like snow. I watched in a daze, a stinging pain hitting my cheek a beat later. Let me tell you, don't think you can demand payment for a favor. She stepped closer, looming over me. I've seen plenty of manipulative girls like you acting dumb. So what if you saved him? Does that mean he has to marry you? My whole body started to tremble. Memories of beatings came flooding back like a tide. Seeing I didn't speak, her anger grew, and she shoved me hard. Stop acting pitiful. You just want money, right? My lower back hit the Marble Island counter hard, and I collapsed to the floor in pain. She wasn't done venting. She grabbed a glass from the table and smashed it on the floor. That's for seducing Mason. Shameless. The sound of shattering glass made me squat down, hugging my head, curling into a ball. I didn't force him to marry me. Under the starry sky in the wheat fields that night, it was Mason who said he liked me. I didn't pester him, he was the one who left me his address. I wasn't refusing to leave. Mason told me I couldn't step foot outside the house and to wait for him to come back. I wanted to explain but couldn't make a sound, anxious to the point of breaking down. Hiding? I'll give you something to hide from. She grabbed my hair and raised her hand to slap me. I squeezed my eyes shut and covered my ears. But the expected pain didn't come. Instead, a cold voice cut through the air. Touch her and see what happens. I opened my eyes, trembling, and saw Liam standing at the door. The grocery bags were dropped on the floor, his face terrifyingly dark. The girl was scared into letting go, forcing a calm facade. Liam? Why are you here? This woman is shameless. Get out. The girl wanted to argue, but silenced herself the moment she met his gaze. Impatience colored Liam's brow. Serena, I never said I don't hit women. Serena stomped her foot in frustration, grabbed her bag, and left. Liam crossed the room in a few strides, crouching down to check on me. Where are you hurt? His voice was very soft. I shook my head, instinctively shrinking back. He looked around at the mess, his eyes darkening. Liam looked at me silently for a moment, then held out his hand. Chloe. There was a coaxing quality to his voice. Do you want to come with me? I looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. Let's not wait for that bastard anymore, okay? Even having never seen the world, I understood the situation. No wonder, when I secretly used my brother's smartphone to message Mason. The chat box status always showed, the other party is cheating. Mason really did like someone else. So, I slowly reached out my ice-cold hand and placed it in Liam's warm palm. He gripped it tight, the corner of his mouth curving up. Liam took me back to his apartment. Unlike Mason's cold, model home-style place, this one was full of life. A blanket was thrown casually over the sofa, and finance magazines and game controllers were scattered on the coffee table. You'll stay in this room for now. He pushed open the guest bedroom door. It was clean and tidy with a soft, large bed. I stood frozen, not knowing what to do. When I ran away from the mountains, I was afraid of attracting attention, so I only brought a small bundle. Now Serena had thrown that bundle away too. I had nothing, except the wash-worn clothes on my back. Liam noticed my embarrassment. He pulled a clean white shirt from his closet and handed it to me. Wear this as pajamas tonight. I'll have someone send new clothes over tomorrow. I nodded and took the shirt. When I went into the bathroom, compelled by some strange force, I buried my face in it and sniffed. The fabric was soft, carrying a faint, clean scent, the same as him. After showering, I walked out. The shirt just covered my knees. Liam was leaning back on the sofa replying to messages. He looked up when he heard me. A girl's bare legs, straight and slender, exposed to the cool air. His Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably, and his eyes instantly darkened. Liam quickly looked away, coughing lightly. Done washing? Go rest in your room. I nodded, curling my toes, but didn't move immediately. After hesitating, I summoned my courage and walked closer to him. I picked up the pen and paper he had left on the coffee table and wrote clumsily. Can you take me to read and write? Liam was surprised, raising an eyebrow at me. Why the sudden interest? I wrote seriously, stroke by stroke, don't want to be a literate. Don't want to be a burden. When I learn, I will go find Gob. Can't eat freely at your house. He looked at my crooked but incredibly earnest handwriting, silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed. All right. Our Chloe has ambition. He leaned in closer, his warm breath brushing past my ear. I'll find some online courses for you first. Practice with the teacher and the videos on the tablet. Ask me if you don't understand. Once I find a suitable school, I'll send you there. The distance was too close. I could clearly see his long eyelashes. Liam's gaze involuntarily lingered on my collarbone, slightly exposed by the neckline, and his breathing hitched. Immediately, he straightened up as if burned, shoved his phone into my hand, his voice a bit hoarse. Try using my phone first. I set it to handwriting mode. I'm going to take a shower. I held his phone, still warm from his body, blankly wondering what was wrong with him. Just then, the phone screen lit up. It was a voice message from Mason. Liam paused mid-step, leaned over, and tapped it. Mason's irritated voice came out, Liam, I'm so unlucky. I don't know where Serena heard about my childhood engagement, but she's making a huge scene. I still haven't calmed her down. By the way, how is that little mute doing? She hasn't caused you any trouble, has she? Make sure she behaves and doesn't get any ideas. She saved me, after all, and a young girl has nowhere else to go. Once I explain things to Serena, I'll take responsibility for her. I clutched the phone, breathing becoming difficult. Immediately after, another message popped up. Transfer, 00000. Bro, thanks for your hard work these past days. Dinner's on me, don't refuse. Are you free right now? Put the mute on, I want to say a few words to her. I figure since I haven't been back in so long, she's probably crying. Liam scoffed, expressionless as he took off his jacket and walked toward the bathroom. Chloe, reply for me. Just say thanks, she's busy, it's inconvenient. I nodded, writing on the screen with unskilled fingers. Liam's phone was high-tech. After writing a character, it would auto-suggest words. I wasn't paying attention and accidentally tapped an extra word. I checked it a few times, looked at it with satisfaction, and decided it didn't affect the meaning much. Tap send. Mason replied instantly, a bombardment of 60-second voice messages. Liam, hearing the incessant notifications from the bathroom, called out through the door. So noisy. Who sent that? Chloe, play it for me. I tapped one. It was Mason's voice, cracking with shock. Liam? Fuck you. What the hell did you do to my person? What do you mean she's banged? You wait. I'm coming over right fucking now. She doesn't know anything, she's barely been to school. Have you no shame? How could you do that to her? I was even more confused. Did I write the wrong word again? Even if it was a typo, surely it didn't warrant such a huge reaction. Just then, the water stopped in the bathroom. Liam walked out with a towel around his waist, drying his wet hair. Water droplets still clung to his defined abs. He frowned. What is that bastard raving about now? I handed him the phone. When Liam saw the line of text I had sent, he froze on the spot. Banged. She is helping. Not convenient. Liam stared at the words on the screen, his ears turning red at a visible speed. He opened his mouth, seeming to want to say something, but forced it back down. Your typos. Finally, he laughed, his tone holding a helpless indulgence. Forget it, it's fine. I frowned at Liam, then looked down at those words. Before I could figure it out, urgent knocking came from the door, accompanied by Mason's furious voice. Liam. Open the door. Is Chloe okay? Liam's face darkened. He grabbed a t-shirt, pulled it on, and went to open the door. The moment the door cracked open, Mason shoved his way in. His eyes scanned the living room frantically, finally landing on me. He froze, then rushed over in a few steps, grabbing my shoulders with enough force to make my bones ache. Chloe, wear your own clothes. It's okay now, it doesn't matter. Let's go, I'm taking you back. I was scared by his behavior and struggled hard to break free. Liam stepped forward, forcefully knocking Mason's hands away and shielding me behind him. She doesn't want to go with you. Liam's voice was cold as ice. Mason looked in disbelief as I hid behind Liam. He took a deep breath to adjust his emotions, his tone softening. Chloe, be a good girl, come back with me. I neglected you before. I didn't know about Serena coming to find you. I've cleared everything up with her, it won't happen again. Liam is just my friend. It's not right for you to keep troubling him, is it? I looked at him, slowly raised my hands, and started signing. Mason frowned, impatience coloring his brow. I don't understand, Chloe. Whatever it is, let's talk about it when we get back. Liam looked down at me and scoffed lightly. She said, she doesn't want to go with you. My eyes lit up, and I nodded immediately, continuing to sign. She said she knows you have a girlfriend, and she won't think about marrying you anymore. I nodded heavily again. Mason got anxious. He tried to step forward again but stopped dead in his tracks at a look from Liam. No, I'm with Serena because of family arrangements. I never thought about breaking my promise to you. It's just a difficult problem, I need time. Besides, you're a stranger here, and you have no money. If you don't come back with me, where can you go? Back to the mountains? I didn't wait for Mason to finish. My fingers moved fast as I looked at him seriously. Liam raised an eyebrow at Mason, the corner of his mouth hooking into a faint arc. She's staying with me. He paused for a second, reaching out to ruffle my hair. She said she likes me. I instinctively nodded along, then froze halfway through. Mason looked like he'd been struck by lightning. His eyes widened, his voice cracking. Likes him? You've only known him a few days. Did he teach you to say that? Saying that, he tried to bypass Liam to grab me, but Liam shoved him back. Mason. Liam's eyes went completely cold, the air pressure around him terrifyingly low. Even if nothing happened with Serena. Your disgust for her, your cold treatment of her, those were all real. You think she doesn't understand anything because you've never looked at her as an equal. She knows who is sincere to her, and she knows who is a heartless bastard. Mason let out a cold laugh, slowly raising his head. Liam, stop with the self-righteous act. I think you just want her for yourself, right? Only a few days, and you're defending her like this. He stepped forward and shoved Liam hard. I treated you like a brother. And you steal my girl like this? You help me take care of her, and you take care of her right into your bed, huh? Liam twitched his lip, suddenly grabbed Mason by the collar, and punched him in the face. Keep your mouth clean. Mason stumbled back into the wall, blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. Liam, standing at 6 feet 2 inches, radiated an oppressive pressure that made it hard to breathe. Mason, you don't deserve to use the word brother. The Mu family has begged enough benefits from me explicitly and implicitly over the years. Starting today, the Mu family doesn't get a seat at the table in this city. Mason clutched his face, wanting to say something more. Chloe, do you know? I didn't want to listen anymore. I reached out and gently pulled the hem of Liam's shirt. Liam turned to look at me, speaking softly. It's okay. I shook my head at him and pointed at the door. Liam smiled, a bit dotingly. Telling me to go back inside? Afraid I'll lose? Don't worry. He can't beat me, and he definitely doesn't dare hit me. I frowned, clearly disagreeing. Okay, let's go home. Liam followed me obediently, slamming the door shut with a bang behind me. All of Mason's explanations and resentment were shut out. I leaned against the door panel, listening to Mason's footsteps fading away, and slowly let out a breath. The world was finally quiet. I looked up and met Liam's gaze, close at hand. His eyes were deep, swirling with emotions I couldn't understand. Chloe. He called my name in a low voice, smiling. Worried about me that much? My heart skipped a beat without warning. I looked away unnaturally, pulling my small notebook and pen from my pocket. I scribbled quickly, then held it up to Liam's face. You said, I lick you. What does it mean? Liam kept a straight face, but his peach blossom eyes danced with teasing light. Why? He leaned down slightly to meet my eyes. Do you hate me? I shook my head vigorously, the pen tip scratching fast across the paper. Not hat. He laughed at my panic, reaching out to ruffle my hair. Then did you want to go back with Mason, continue starving, and get bullied by his girlfriend? I shook my head even harder, fear in my eyes. Then that's right. Liam's tone was relaxed, as if saying the most natural thing in the world. Was there any problem with what I said? I blinked. It seemed there wasn't a problem. But something felt weird in my heart. I looked down again, hesitating before writing, sorry. You were friends. Now you fight because of me. Liam looked at the words, the smile on his face fading slightly, replaced by seriousness. Don't apologize. His voice was low. We were only brothers because of you in the first place. I looked up in confusion. Those kidnappers years ago, the person they wanted to kidnap was me. Liam pulled the corner of his mouth in a self-deprecating smile. That day on the school field trip, Mason was cold and borrowed my jacket. We were about the same height and build then, and in the chaos, he was mistaken for me. Later, the kidnappers realized they grabbed the wrong person, and afraid of exposure, they sold him off to traffickers. Our families had a huge gap in status. His dad had to bow and scrape just to say hello to mine. After that incident, my family felt guilty, so we helped him at every turn. I was stunned. I didn't know there was such a reason behind it. Thinking about it, I continued to write, then why are you so good to me? From the first meeting, bringing me food, chasing Serena away, taking me home, promising to teach me to read, everything he did went far beyond helping a bro out. Mason was right about one thing, I was burdening Liam too much. Liam looked at me silently, his eyes complex, looking almost a little aggrieved. After a long while, he spoke slowly. We met before, Chloe. My eyes widened in surprise. Remember when you first came to the city, asking about Mason at the school gate? He prompted. Some people saw you couldn't speak and were mocking you sarcastically. I slowly remembered. That day I had finally found Mason's school and summoned the courage to ask around. Later, that woman dropped her meal card, and you ran over to pick it up and return it to her. I paused, realizing belatedly that the girl back then had been mocking me. But I was so dirty at the time, it was easy to scare people. Liam continued. I couldn't stand watching it. You were standing by the road looking lost. I went over to ask where you were going and gave you directions. I searched my memory hard. It seemed there was such a person. I was too anxious at the time, I only remembered the boy was very tall and had a nice voice. And he looked at me, his gaze gentle. When we went to the mountains to get Mason, I was there too. I jerked my head up, trying to recall. Liam must have grown a lot, he looked completely different from my memory. I left you my contact info. Every holiday, I sent gifts to your family to show gratitude. I suddenly understood, my pen tip shaking with excitement. Oh, it's you. I didn't have a phone, so I could only borrow my brother's for a little while when he was in a good mood. Back then, I always waited eagerly for Mason's replies. At first, Mason would leave messages, caring about my life. Gradually, I wouldn't get a single message for weeks. Instead, the boy who came with Mason's family would send me huge paragraphs of text. It seemed he treated my chat box as a tree hole to vent his troubles. Maybe because I didn't know him, he had no guard up against me, no pressure, so he could express the bitterness in his heart without reservation. Reading the emotions between the lines, I felt he was an unloved child just like me. So I often shared funny things from the countryside with him, hoping he would be happier. Liam saw my writing and laughed helplessly. We were pen pals for years, at least. And when we meet again, you don't recognize me at all. I smiled guiltily. Didn't mean to. Don't hold a fug. Liam paused, a teasing tone entering his voice. Who was it that used to call me Big Brother on the phone every day, acting cute and saying she had no money for candy? My face burned red instantly. I waved my hands frantically, writing fast in the notebook to defend myself. No. I never begged for money. After writing that, I suddenly thought of how my brother often rushed me away without letting me log out. I quickly added, maybe my brother. He pretended to be me. Liam froze, then said oh with a hint of disappointment. So that's how it was. No wonder. Every time I invited you to come to the city, I was rejected with all kinds of excuses. He looked at my crimson cheeks, his eyes darkening. Sorry. I should have realized sooner. If it had been sooner, you wouldn't have had to suffer all this. I shook my head hard. If not you, I wouldn't have courage to run away. It was Liam who told me that if no one loved me, I had to learn to love myself. A week later, Liam found a suitable school for people with disabilities for me. Life became full. I started systematically learning sign language and writing. Because my hands hadn't been treated in time after being beaten raw, my finger joints were a bit twisted and had lasting damage. Though not very dexterous, I studied very hard. In the first test, I scored nearly full marks. Liam came to pick me up after school that day, saying he was taking me to pick out a gift for getting first place. The car stopped in front of a grand building, and staff in uniforms immediately came to open the door. Liam handed over a black card with gold lettering, leading me into the brilliantly lit hall. Crystal chandeliers refracted dazzling light, and well-dressed guests spoke in hushed tones. On the stage ahead, an auctioneer was introducing a jade ornament. I had never seen such beautiful things and felt a bit out of place. It's just like class. Liam led me to our seats, whispering in my ear. Later, if you see something you like, just raise your hand like you're answering a question. I nodded obediently, observing the auction process seriously. Just as Liam said, the person who raised their hand the most and fastest would get the item on stage. Next lot, a ruby necklace. Starting bid. 80,000. The necklace in the display case glittered under the lights. I finally couldn't resist raising my hand. Liam gave me an encouraging look and raised his paddle too. 85,000. The auctioneer pointed at us immediately. Everyone else's gaze followed. Mason froze the moment he saw me, his expression complicated. Serena glared at me viciously and quickly raised her paddle. 90,000. 100,000. Liam bid calmly. Serena raised her paddle again. 120,000. The price climbed higher and higher. Watching them go back and forth, I finally realized that string of numbers was the price of the item. They blurted it out so lightly, I thought it was a serial number or something. I quickly grabbed Liam, shaking my head frantically. Liam held my hand reassuringly, whispering softly, "It's okay. We came today to vent your anger. That is the real gift." On the other side, Serena's chest was heaving, seemingly arguing with Mason. Mason tried to grab the paddle from her hand, but she shook him off. 300,000. 300,000, going once. 300,000, going twice. Mason looked sick. Serena turned back, looking at me provocatively. The gavel was about to fall. At that moment, Liam slowly raised a special red paddle, his voice clear, "I'm buying out the floor." The entire venue went instantly silent, followed by an eruption of chatter. Everyone's eyes focused on us, and I heard suppressed gasps around me. Is young Master Lu buying out the auction? That implies he'll match any bid until everyone else quits or he wins. How much money will that cost? Who is that girl? Worth Master Lu's spending like that? Mason clenched his jaw, lowering his voice to Serena, "Stop it. Do you think you can compete with Liam's net worth?" Serena bit her lip unwillingly, deliberately raising her volume. She's just a little mute from the sticks, can't even read a few words. Does she deserve to compete with me? She turned to Mason, staring straight at him. "Mason, are you just going to watch her bully me? You said you'd make it up to me. I want this necklace today." Mason didn't speak. His gaze remained fixed on me. After a long while, he spoke. "I'll buy you something else, okay? This is what I owe her." The whispers around us grew louder. Aren't Mason and Liam thick as thieves? Why does it look like they've fallen out? Sounds like Master Mu and this girl have a history. If it weren't for that accident years ago, the Mu family couldn't touch the Lu family's hem. Who knows how many benefits they mooched off that favor. Probably the Lu family finally saw through them. Master Lu is the most prestigious heir in the city. He never brings a female companion. This girl must be special. Seeing Mason not helping her, Serena turned pale with rage. The pointing and whispering made her even more embarrassed. A woman from nowhere, first wanting to marry Mason. Now she's climbed onto Liam. Who knows what dirty tricks she used? This kind of person is manipulative. Liam, don't be bewitched by her. Liam's eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to speak, I gently pulled his sleeve. Under everyone's gaze, I turned sideways and slowly raised my middle finger at Serena. My desk mate taught me this yesterday. She said I looked easily bullied, so if I met nasty people, I should do this gesture. Guaranteed to make them die of anger. Serena was dumbfounded, her entire face flushing red. You dare. Sounds of stifled laughter came from around us. Liam was stunned at first, then laughed low. Chloe, impressive. Gentle laughter rippled in his eyes. Do that whenever you see her from now on. The auctioneer dropped the gavel at the right moment. Sold. Congratulations, Mr. Lou. Spotlights hit us. Liam took my hand, leading me calmly out of the venue amidst inquisitive gazes. As we passed Mason, he grabbed my arm. Chloe, let's talk. I was wrong before. I just want a chance to make it up to you. I'll pay for this necklace. Consider it my gift to you. Liam sneered, speaking slowly and methodically. You'll pay? If I recall correctly, the Mu family lost 3 projects in a row, and your capital chain broke a long time ago. TSK, come to think of it, the Shin family seems unable to save themselves either. They're planning to cut ties with you. You didn't know? Mason let go of me stiffly, his pupils trembling. Liam, did you do this? Liam didn't spare him another glance. Chloe, let's go home. I took Liam's arm. And didn't look back. Behind us came the sound of Mason and Serena arguing violently. I thought I had finally escaped the past, but the nightmare of my biological family clung to me like a vengeful ghost. I was practicing writing at home on the weekend when loud shouting suddenly came from outside. Through the peephole, I saw Dad, Mom, and my brother blocking the door, banging on it hard. Chloe Chen. Get out here. Dad's coarse voice was deafening. Think you're hot stuff now? Climbing the social ladder and forgetting your parents? Do you know how I'm supposed to explain this to your in-laws since you ran off? Hurry up and come back with us to get married. My brother shouted along, Sis, open the door. We heard everything. You're living the high life with a rich guy now, you can't just ignore us. I covered my mouth tight, hiding behind the door, afraid to make a sound. While telling myself to stay calm, I text messaged security. Just then, the elevator doors opened. Mason walked out, looking haggard. He clearly froze when he saw the scene. Who are you? What are you doing here? Mason stepped forward and yanked my brother off the door, frowning. Dad looked him over, immediately putting on a fawning face. You live here, right? You're the one keeping Chloe. We're her family. The kid doesn't know any better, causing you trouble. We'll take her back right now. But, our daughter is a clean, innocent girl, and she's lived with you so long. You can't sleep with her for free. About the money, don't you think you should give a little? Mason's face turned ugly. What nonsense are you talking about? You're not owning up to it? That won't do. Mom screamed, her features twisting together. We are a decent family. You must pay damages. You ruined my daughter's reputation. My brother chimed in, Sis, come out. We know everything. This guy spent millions on you. I need a wife in a couple of years, and I'm still short a few grand for the village chief's dowry demand. You have to cover this. Mason looked at them in shock, then at the closed door. What dowry? Who are you marrying her to? Dad busily piled on a smile, his face holding a rightful pride. The village chief's son. If he hadn't broken his leg working in the mines and had his wife run off, such a good marriage wouldn't have fallen to our family. You tell me. A mute cripple like her, she should be grateful any man wants her, right? And she dared to run. Truly clueless. Mason was silent for a few seconds, pain revealing itself in his eyes. He muttered, Chloe, I'm sorry. I didn't know you lived a life like that at home. I didn't know you escaped. I actually ignored you like that. He turned to my family, his tone full of disgust. Chloe isn't going with you. Our family gave you so much money back then. You promised you'd treat her well. You embezzled it all, didn't you? Hurt her like this, and now you want to sell her for a dowry. Get lost. Now. Dad shoved Mason, revealing yellow teeth. We're taking our own daughter home. It's the law of nature. You don't want to pay up, huh? I'm telling you, we're staying right here. What can you do to us? In the chaos, the elevator opened again. Liam walked out quickly. Behind him was a row of bodyguards and community security. Send them all to the police station. Contact lawyerly, make sure they don't come out. Liam's gaze swept over everyone present, enunciating every word. The burly bodyguards stepped forward immediately, subduing them in seconds. Seeing this, Dad and Mom started wailing. My brother didn't dare make a peep, his fat body wriggling on the ground. Liam only gave his assistant a look. Understood, Mr. Liu. I will investigate this matter thoroughly. The elevator doors closed, and the air returned to silence. I carefully peeked out through the crack in the door, unable to control the redness around my eyes. Liam strode forward, hugging me, gently patting my back. It's okay. I'm back. They won't ever appear in front of you again. Mason's voice trembled, incoherent. Chloe, I didn't know your family was this bad. I broke up with Serena. I'm willing to fulfill the promise from back then. I'll marry you. Can you give me another chance? I moved here too. I'll take you to school, go to doctor appointments with you, okay? Liam held me tighter, voice cold. Mason, you'd better disappear too and stop harassing her. She is not a commodity. She isn't something you can reject when you want and marry when you feel like it. Liam. A distinguished middle-aged man had appeared in the hallway unnoticed. He huffed in dissatisfaction, voice full of authority. You left the board meeting abruptly, ignoring company interests in front of so many elders, just for this kind of woman? Liam shielded me behind him. Dad, she has a name. Please show her some respect. Nonsense. Chairman Liu suddenly shouted sternly. The Liu family will never allow you to bring a mute from the sticks through the door. Didn't you see just now? A family like that, what's the difference between them and hooligans? Liam was neither humble nor arrogant. I can handle it. And I don't care. Besides, I have the Liu Corporation firmly in hand now. Dad, you're old. You don't need to worry so much. Chairman Liu raised his cane and smashed it hard toward Liam. You unfilial son. Without thinking, I threw myself forward to hug Liam. He turned quickly, protecting me in his arms, taking the cane blow with his own arm. With a dull thud, the wood hit Liam's arm, instantly causing redness and swelling. Chairman Liu froze, seemingly not expecting his son to take the hit without dodging. You like her that much? Since you were little, you've never defied me like this. Liam looked at his father expressionlessly. That's because you never treated me as a child. You only saw me as a tool that could be replaced at any time if it wasn't excellent enough. So I dared not have emotions, dared not resist. I never had my own choice. But this time, I'm following my own heart. If there's nothing else, we're leaving. Liam took my hand and walked straight away. Chairman Liu wanted to chase, but Mason stopped him. Mason watched the backs of the two leaving, smiling bleakly. Inside the car, I carefully applied medicine to the injury on Liam's arm. My fingertips circled gently, blowing on it as I went. I lowered my eyes, heart feeling heavy. Like something heavy was blocking it. Acid rose in my eyes again. Closing the ointment, I sniffed and took out my notebook. THXU. But, Dad is right. I am bad. Not good enough for you. Who wouldn't be moved by such unconditional bias and unwavering defense? Especially for someone like me, who had never been chosen first. But liking someone breeds insecurity. Especially with the gap between us being like a chasm right now. Liam watched me quietly, then suddenly spoke. Chloe, did you know? That kidnapping, my family actually got word in advance. I looked up in surprise. But they didn't tell me. Liam pulled a bitter smile. Because they wanted to use it to get leverage and completely take down their rivals. His voice was very soft. In their eyes, I was always just a pawn. Sophomore year, my mom died suddenly. I got a new stepmother very quickly. The day she moved in, I found out I had two brothers in elementary school. Turns out my dad didn't just have me. He just wanted the most excellent heir. For finals that term, I deliberately handed in a blank paper. When the scores came out, I was punished to kneel in the study all night. My dad pointed at my nose and told me personally that he should have divorced sooner, to avoid a woman as indecisive as my mom raising me like this. From that time on, I guess my mom's death wasn't an accident. And the happy family I was once proud of was just a fake image my mom desperately maintained. Later, my mental state collapsed. I got severe depression. I wanted to find someone to talk to, but found there was no one. He smiled. So I started texting you. Your WeChat hadn't updated in 2 or 3 years. I thought no one used the account anymore, so I talked to myself with no burden. Until one day, I got a reply. Liam's voice softened. You actually read all those messages I sent, and replied to every single one seriously. You even tore open your own scars to comfort me. He looked at me deeply. That day, I was standing on the edge of the roof. It was your message notification sound that pulled back the foot I had stepped out. I stared at him blankly, tears slipping down unknowingly. My eyes were full of heartache. Liam gently wiped away my tears. So Chloe, don't say you're not good enough for me. You were the one who let me know there was someone in this world who genuinely cared about me. Don't worry. Me liking you is my business. You don't have to rush to answer me. Liam was truly too good to me. But love is mutual. So I started thinking of ways to save money to prepare a gift for Liam. He had walked 99 steps toward me. The final ritual, I wanted to give it to him. At school, the teacher discovered I had a talent for writing. In every writing class, I got high scores. Chloe's words have an unpolished aura. The teacher signed during class. Like a clear spring in the mountains, clean and pure. Classmates told me too. Thanks to the love letter you helped me plan, he accepted my confession. My friends all say you write really well. Hey, do you want to consider a side hustle? So I started submitting modern poetry online and taking commissions for writing love letters. My little treasury grew ching. I worked harder and harder, staying up late to write at home too. Liam knocked on the door. Chloe, I heated up some chicken soup. Come down and drink. I instinctively shoved the pink stationery paper in my hand into the drawer and ran to open the door. Since the gift was a surprise, I didn't want it discovered this early. I completely failed to notice the paper fluttering to the floor. Having finished the soup, I was curled up on the sofa watching TV. Liam came down from upstairs after a long time, his eyes devoid of emotion. I looked at him strangely. Liam was silent for a long time before speaking faintly. Does Chloe have someone she likes? I froze, staring guiltily at my toes. Did my confession plan get exposed? Liam took a deep breath, barely maintaining his calm. I have some work to handle. You go back to your room and rest. I looked at him in confusion, not understanding why he was suddenly so cold. But I nodded obediently, hugging a pillow and going back to the bedroom. Late at night, I was sleeping hazily when I felt someone crawl onto the bed. I opened my eyes and saw Liam's impossibly beautiful face. He had probably just showered, his robe belt was tied loosely, firm chest muscles peeking through. The guy you like, what kind of person is he? Liam asked suddenly, voice husky. The best person in the world. I signed, a beat slow. Liam laughed as if angry, gritting his teeth. Is he handsomer than me? I shook my head hazily. Richer than me? I shook my head again. Loves you more than I do? My eyelids were fighting to stay open, but I thought seriously, then continued to shake my head. How could anyone compare? The person I liked was Liam. Liam's face went black instantly. Chloe. And you still like him? I nodded sluggishly. Liam was silent for a moment, his tone unreadable. Then being that side piece is okay, right? Did that mean being a mistress? I was scared awake by his bold statement, frantically sitting up to cover his mouth. My eyes were round, shaking my head non-stop. Liam slowly pulled my hand down, sneering. Can't even be a side piece? Chloe, I gave you time to consider, not time to like someone else. I finally realized he misunderstood. I quickly turned on the bedside lamp, took out my notebook, and wrote swish swish, the person I like is you. Liam froze slightly, voice unstable. Then that love letter. I wrote it for a classmate. I want to make money to buy you a gift. The gloom on Liam's face vanished instantly. Really? I nodded hard, continuing to write, you gave me so many gifts. I want to give you something too. You are the best person in the world. I lick you most. Thinking about it, I felt a bit annoyed. This was supposed to be a surprise. Liam pulled me into his arms, laughing low, the vibration of his chest transferring to me. Chloe. He cupped my face, kissing my forehead. I am very surprised right now. This is the most surprised moment of my life. I nuzzled into his chest, suddenly remembering something, and picked up the notebook again. But why are you worrying so little? Yesterday you said you had a cold. Liam's ears turned slightly red. He coughed lightly. Internet said, to seduce a woman you have to do this. Self-cultivation of a side piece. End of the month. I counted the bills in my piggy bank and checked the balance on my phone. Enough money. But what should I buy Liam? He seemed to lack nothing. I lay on my desk thinking all day. During break, I grabbed my desk mate and asked for help in sign language. Even though she had a prosthetic leg due to a car accident, she never gave up her dream of dancing. She lived passionately and loudly, enjoying life. Every time I saw her sweet moments with her boyfriend, I was happy for her. You asked the right person. My desk mate patted her chest, eyes shining. In this situation, our gift needs to be unique and completely fit his tastes. But your boyfriend has everything. So the best choice is to give yourself to him. You mean a confession? She blinked and giggled. Close enough. Anyway, leave the prep to me. I nodded trustingly. The next day, Lin Wei mysteriously shoved a beautifully wrapped small box into my hands, tied with a pretty bow. Remember. She leaned into my ear, lowering her voice. Open it at night when it's just the two of you. More atmosphere. I accepted the box solemnly. Okay. That night, Liam finished his work. I took a deep breath, blushing as I handed the little box with the bow to him. Liam raised an eyebrow, eyes holding a smile. For me? I nodded hard, looking at him expectantly. Prepared for so long. Hard work for our Chloe. He slowly untied the bow and opened the box. When he saw what was inside, he froze. Inside the box lay a set of white lingerie. Fabric thin as cicada wings, paired with a bunny ear headband. The air instantly became thick and ambiguous. Liam's Adam's apple rolled, lips hooking up. His voice was colored with desire. Put it on for me, HM? I realized belatedly what it was. My face burned red with a whoosh, and I turned to run. Liam extended a long arm, easily scooping me back into his embrace. His chin rested on the top of my head, breath hot. I like Chloe's gift very much. But you can't give a gift halfway and run. His voice was bewitching. I was dizzily pushed into the bathroom. After dawdling for nearly half an hour, I twistedly opened the door. The fabric was pitifully scant, barely covering anything. The cold silk against my skin brought shivers. Liam's burning gaze felt tangible, sweeping over my skin inch by inch. Everywhere it passed, it ignited tremors. He pulled away my shielding hands, coaxing softly. Very pretty. Be good, don't hide. I tried to step back shyly, but he pulled me onto his lap. His palms were scalding, rubbing gently against my exposed waistline. Noses touching, breath mingling. Outside the window, heavy rain began to fall. The budding rose was drenched in crystal droplets. The rain grew heavier, beating hard against the delicate stamen. The rose trembled, unfurling its petals. In the rise and fall, I signed frantically with clumsy hands. Don't want, really don't want. If this continued, I was going to suffocate. Liam laughed low, hot lips against my ear. Chloe says you want more? I was anxious enough to cry, repeating again. I said I don't want it. Liam held my waist, raising an eyebrow slightly. So that's how it is. Our Chloe is saying, don't stop, right? I glared at him, aggrieved. Finally realizing Liam was pretending not to understand on purpose. He chuckled and kissed me again, blocking all whimpers and protests. Little bunny, open the door.